Guess we are live. So, another week, come and gone. Crazy how it goes. This is Patrick with MT Knives, coming to you live from the Ozarks of Missouri. My allergies are having a heyday today. Anyways, it's been a busy day. I just got home not even an hour ago, and just trying to get settled in. Didn't get a whole lot done today, other than traveling around and doing errands I need to get done. I got these knives. These are some steak knives I started a while back. Planning on tapering the tangs and finishing these up here in this next week to get some knives on the site. So we got some more of the ceiling done. Still not enough done, but we've got some done. And got rearranging the shop, trying to get things ready so that I can start grinding on some knives and getting to work. So, message retracted. Anyways, I really like this little profile. I finished one of these up for myself, and I'm looking forward to getting some knives out. I think I'm going to make another one of these with a little bit larger handle. I like this size, but it's a little small for some people who want a handle. You know, when I design knives, and hey, shalom, Sam. Hope you guys are doing good. I was thinking about you tonight. When I design a knife, you know, there's lots of things that go into the design of a knife. You want to think about the function of the knife and the balance of the knife. What's the knife going to be used for? How's it going to be used, and all that kind of stuff. And I think, hey, Winston, how's it going? You know, a lot of times when you design something, like when I designed the Genesis originally, these holes didn't really seem like, you design it, and then when you make it in person, it's so much different than what you planned. And sometimes those differences can be good, and sometimes they can be bad. I think a little bit too, though, is sometimes people use a tool, they get it wrong, right? Okay, so I've been doing a lot of running, and a lot of what will determine whether or not you're a good runner or not is how good is your form. And a lot of things in life are like this, right? Running, swimming, biking, any sport you play, it's going to come down to how good is your form, and how, you know, so people hire coaches, and it's not just intuitive, right? So I think that's what I think people miss about tools and using equipment, is it's not always intuitive on how a tool should be used, held. Some of it is taught or learned. And when it comes down to knives, I think most people, and really this kind of goes to anything, running, swimming, biking, sports, you think that you have to use a lot of force, use a lot of strength, and muscle your way through it. But in reality, if you learn good form and you learn good technique, you don't have to use a lot of force. And so you know, like this knife here, I have people, even the Genesis, you know, people say, oh, my hand's too big. I think it's not the problem that your hand is too big. I think the problem is you're using the tool wrong. You know, so a lot of time on a knife like this, you know, I'll pinch up and I'll choke up on the knife and I'll be using it. It's more of a tool of delicate precision than a tool of brute force. And so I think that that's where a lot of people miss when they if you, a lot of people don't have the knowledge on how to properly use tools, and it's not necessarily intuitive. Now, a good design should be intuitive. There are some designs that just, you know, you pick them up and you're like, man, this is a good design. It feels good in my hand. It works great, yada, yada. But it's not always that way. What would cut better? A super thin knife with an obtuse edge or a thicker knife with a low angle edge? It depends. What are you cutting? It really depends on what you're cutting. You know, a cold chisel is a really obtuse, you know, edge, and it cuts steel because that's what you need. Where, you know, a knife with a really thin, you know, a lot of Japanese knives are super thin, super sharp edges, and they cut really well as long as you're using them for their intended purposes. You know, a knife that's made to cut vegetables is going to do a lousy job at cutting meat with bones and frozen, you know, frozen meat and things like that. So that's why there's so many different designs and profiles. And a lot of it is like, I could give you an answer, but you're going to learn over time. So I retired my knife and got a Genesis here. And just using it over the last week or two, I've already chipped the edge or did something to the edge. It's not necessarily chipped, but the edge is rolled. And let's see. Now, I don't remember what I was doing. I know what I was doing. I was cutting some wood, and my edge may have came into contact with some concrete. But it's a constant learning of how tough of an edge do you need for how you're going to use a knife. And, you know, I kind of think, you know, when the Boy Scout, you know, I think Boy Scout man was something like 21 degree edge. And a lot of my knives, I sharpen at like 19. And I like a knife to be sharp, but you lose all that ability the minute you roll that edge. Now you're better off with a 20 or 21 degree edge, because that edge probably wouldn't have sustained the damage and would probably continue to cut and perform for you better than a knife that has a finer edge. So it's that balance of finding that right median, finding that right place, excuse me, of performance versus strength, sharpness versus, you know, toughness. So anyways, that's where I'm at. It's been a good week. Went and did some other things, cut some wood that was available. Somebody down the road cut a bunch of timber down, and they were going to light it on fire. So I got to go cut a bunch of posts and things that we needed here on the farm. So that kind of took away from some of the work I was hoping to get done this last week. But anyways, I'm going to keep it short here. We'll catch you guys next week. This has been Patrick with MT Knives. And come in next week and hopefully I'll have some of these done and can show you then. So have a great week.